Step 1, left leg assembly. Before we begin, let's make sure we have all the parts we need. The first thing we're going to do is take a look at our 3D printed parts. You'll notice over here is the left leg. The left leg will be angled to the left. We will also have markings on the back side with an L indicating it's the left leg. We also have a battery cover over here, and you can also tell it's the left battery cover by turning it over, and you'll notice that there's a notch on the left side once turned over. There will also be an L here to indicate that it's the left battery cover. The next one is the servo mounting bracket, and if you notice there's a notch only on the left side, and that way you'll know that it's the left mounting bracket. It too will have a marking to indicate that it is for the left leg. The next one is the large wheel. These ones are interchangeable and can be put on left or right. Now let's move on to the other parts we're going to need. I recommend a number 1 screwdriver, and ideally with a magnetic tip. It makes it easier when assembling. The next one is the Phitech continuous servo motor. And we're going to unpack this and take out only a couple things from here. The servo itself, the disc, and 3 screws. The rest of the pieces you do not need for this project. So if your servo came with additional parts, you will not need them, and you could put them to the side. You'll notice that there are 2 screws here, which I'll put here and here. These larger silver screws over here will be for mounting this servo onto the mounting bracket over here. You will also have a set screw, which is extremely small, and that is going to mount the disc into the servo. We're going to move the disc to the side for the time being, as well as the servo. Okay, so now let's begin. We're going to start first with the left mounting bracket, and we're going to take the servo and put it right below it. So you'll notice that the notch is on the left over here, and you'll notice that the sticker is actually facing upwards. Now we're going to take the servo screws that came with it, and this is the mounting screw. We're going to take one of those 2 silver screws, and we're going to place them here and here. Okay? So let's now screw these in. Okay, that's one. Now let's get to the other side. Okay, and you'll notice that they are nice and screwed in all the way, and this piece is flushed up with the mounting bracket. Okay, you are now ready to actually install the disc. You're going to take the disc, and in this orientation, with this little housing over here, you're going to place the disc right on top of the servo and press in. There you go. Now you're going to take your set screw, that small set screw, and you're going to place it right on top of the disc. Now here, if you have any trouble with a blunt number 1, you could go with a number 0 in case you have more, I guess, traction on your number 0. But I know that my number 1 is pretty good, and this is why I like the magnetic component, because it sticks right to the tip. And I am going to go ahead and screw that in. There you go, just like that. Now, the next step is to actually take this wheel here and to put it right on top of the disc. However, as we know with 3D printing, there are different tolerances, and sometimes the part is made just the right size, but it could just be a little too loose. So if you find that your print fits perfectly snug, then leave it alone. You're good to go. But if you feel like it's a little bit loose, you could actually kind of wrap this with some plumber's tape and then cut off the edges, and that will give some thickness to the edge. Personally, I actually like to go with some glue. And really any kind of glue would work. I'm going to just place a little bit of glue just around the sides there and place the wheel right on top. And that's it. Now it's time for us to snake this wire through the cavity of the left leg. As you can see, there's a little hole right there, and we are going to slide it right through until it comes out the other end. Now this could get a little bit tricky sometimes, so I would suggest turning it around or angling it. And if you do have a problem, you could take a screwdriver or some piece of filament or one of your other screws like this and gently kind of notch it up as you're pushing with your other hand so that it comes right out of the cavity. Make sure that your wire is completely straight when you're doing this. You could also use a paper clip if it gets tricky. There we go. Okay, so now pull the wire up. And then with the sticker facing upwards, you're going to now loop this wire over the notch. That's why the notch exists. And then you're going to rest it right on top of, right on the bottom of the leg there. And then you can pull on it just a little bit. At this point, we're now ready to use our M3 8mm screws, and we're going to go ahead and place them right over there. And now using our screwdriver, we are going to now screw those right into the left leg. Just like that. And the same on the other side. Again, this is why I find it easier to use a magnetic tip, so you can put it right on the edge like that, and then you go right there and screw it in, just like that. See? Okay. Now you're ready to assemble your battery cover, and to do that, we're going to place it right on top. If your wires are in the way, you could kind of push them over, maybe feed down the wire a little bit. And you're going to line up these two holes on both sides of the battery cover with, you'll probably notice that there are two indentations here and here. And you're going to just put in those very thin M2 by 8mm screws on both sides. Okay. All right. And once that is done, your battery cover will be nice and flush with the rest of the leg. And you are now ready to move on to step number 2.